In our last video, we talked about the Agile principle of face-to-face communication and how most teams have a daily face-to-face meeting or stand-up to help follow this principle. But beyond being face-to-face, what are we really trying to accomplish? How should we define success for this daily meeting? We can find direction by looking at the other Agile principles. In particular, the one that says, working software is the primary measure of progress. If working software is the way we define progress, then we should probably try to use our face-to-face meeting to do things that will facilitate making this progress. The best way to make progress then is to get software to a working state where people can use it. Usually the best way to do this is to take code that's not quite in a fully working state and finish it. If this is the goal of the face-to-face meeting, then it really should guide the format of the meeting. I know many teams have each individual tell what they did yesterday, plan to do today, and if they have anything blocking them. This can work well, but if the goal of the meeting is to get code into a working, completed state, it may be more efficient to build the meeting around the work or the stories that need to be done rather than the people. Our goal for the daily face-to-face meeting becomes much more clear when we switch to a story-centric approach like this. We want to get software to the point it is working, the point where we can say it's now complete, the point where it adds value to the user. Our face-to-face meeting should focus on enabling the completion of each story, with a special focus on finishing the ones that are nearing completion. Most teams move the stories that represent new functionality through different stages. For example, requirements, development, testing. Often these stages are represented as columns on a board and the stories as sticky notes that move from left to right toward the done column. With this type of setup, the work that is closest to being done is on the right-hand side of the board. We can start our meeting with the work that's closest to completion and work our way back toward the less finished work. If our goal is to finish the features that are in flight, then the best place to start is on the right-hand side of the board. Read each story and see what can be done to move it toward the done column. You don't have to solve every single issue in the face-to-face meeting. Don't spend 10 minutes discussing every single story. It usually only takes a few seconds to determine who needs to do what to move the story forward. If it requires more discussion, the people involved can talk after the meeting. When we organize our daily face-to-face meeting around the Agile principles, it leads to doing things like focusing on stories and starting on the right and working back. This is exactly what we need to do with each part of our process. Hone and refine it to better align with our values and principles, because that is how you become an Agile team. Do you have an interesting story about a daily stand-up meeting? If so, please leave it in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please take a moment to like it, subscribe, and share it with people on your team.